Well, I don't.
Download it now
Why do I need Audacity?
to record your end of the conversation.
Didn't sign up for this, Sarge.
I set up a video recording on your computer, but not audio recording.
Yeah, I don't have Audacity. Alright, well, now we get to wait for me to do that.
Well, apparently, we are recording live on YouTube right now, so I'm going to go look at that, and don't say anything you don't want on YouTube.
Fantastic.
That's how we lose our jobs, right?
Yeah, this is exactly how we lose our jobs. Oh yeah, okay, we are live on YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
Sweet.
Don't get me fired, YouTube.
Oh, okay, it's like a 5-second
delay.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on Twitter and tell people to watch us.
Oh God, don't do that.
Oh, that's exactly what we need.
Let's do it. I'm all in, man. I am so all in. I have had 4 vodka shots so far this evening, and I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Alright, well now I've got Audacity open. What do I do?
The big red button that says record.
That's it? I don't have to decide, like, set up the file or anything? It just go? Okay.
It records. Oh, it records somewhere, and I don't actually know where it records.
Oh, great. Alright.
Make sure it's got your microphone. So there's like the toolbar right under the.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah, it's like your microphone.
It's got my mic.
I'm sure there's a way to tell it where to like put temporary files and stuff.
I have no doubt. And I will someday find that out.
Right. Probably find it out after you. Oh yeah, there it is.
I'm gonna just hit record now, and we're just gonna go.
Wait, we're supposed to hit at the same time.
Oh yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3, go.
I already hit it.
That's okay. I won't tell anyone if you don't.
I guess I don't need to be on Mumble anymore, yeah.
No, that's true. But you do have a sweet pirate hat.
Yeah. Pretty awesome. Almost on my face, yeah.
All right, so you guys want to do a podcast? We're talking about Everquest Next and PAX memories.
Are we?
Yeah, we are.
That's the rumor going around, man. That's what I've heard.
Go ahead, be surprised. I am too.
Man, I gotta remember what I did at PAX.
Well, we're gonna work on that.
All right,
Okay.
let's go.
All right, I'm going to record now the intro. Hello and welcome to Cat Context Podcast, episode 32 for Wednesday, August 14th, 2013. Today we have Elindriel with us as always, and also a special guest, Vajra. Hey, Vajra, how's it going?
Hey, going great. Thanks for inviting me back.
No problem. Just for those paying attention, Aerolade and the Aerolade family are doing very well after the new addition to their family. So she is taking some time off to, of course, look after that. And so that's why we have Vajra with us here. So today we'll be talking about our PAX memories and also Everquest Next. It came out this week and we're possibly excited about it. I don't know. We'll have to see. But
it didn't come out this week.
Okay, the announcement with this was this week.
It had its coming out party, if that's what you mean. I mean, that's something.
It was finger painting.
Yes. It's a sandbox game, and they introduced it with sand art. Isn't that clever, folks? That's so clever.
Am I right?
Yeah, I didn't even get that.
Yeah, no, that was very much a, oh, you made a funny moment, you know.
What I did do is immediately turn off the stream and go do something else, though.
You know, it was
I wish I had.
I was like, oh, this is really pretty, and then it went on for like 20 minutes.
Right,
and I'm like,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, what?
So slow. So anyway, Ellie, how are you doing this weekend?
Pretty good.
Good. You look very official with like your pop screen and your glasses, and I feel like you've made us all look smarter.
Oh, awesome. That's
Not
good.
me.
I have the right angle so you can see the pop screen, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's very good. How about you, Vajra? How are you doing?
Oh, good. Tired. Ready for another weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
Me too. Okay, so let's start with Everquest Next because it is the hot new news. It was announced finally last week in a big presentation at SOE Live in Las Vegas.
Well, it was revealed. It was revealed.
It was revealed, and there was a lot of stuff they had to talk about, including voxels. Is everyone excited about voxels?
I still don't know what they are.
Yeah, are voxels just Minecraft blocks?
Yes, basically they are 3D pixels.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I guess I guess I would be excited about them if I actually saw some in-game footage of them being used rather than pre-rendered, pre-recorded video. I don't know. You can do a lot with pre-rendered, in-studio video that, yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't see any of that in the actual game.
Well, they had some good ideas, including
Oh, yeah, yeah.
the destructible environment made of voxels. They've put in a subterranean layer, and they said they did like 10,000 years of history to figure out where artifacts would be if you dig down, and as well the AI, which is done by Storybricks, which is supposed to be a more dynamic, they will give orcs sort of a guideline. For example, orcs don't like people, but they do like robbing solo travelers, so they will go where that is most pleasant for their environment. So there are some cool things going on. I'm a little skeptical whether they'll be able to do it. Well, exactly, right?
I don't know. I mean, this, yeah. What was that Ellie, help me out here. What was the name of that vaporware console from a couple of years ago? Was it the Phantom? Was that the totally ironic name for it?
Oh man, I don't know.
Oh God, come on, give me a gaming history. Someone will remember this. I don't know. This feels super vaporware at this point. They've made some really, really, really big promises on what they're gonna do. A lot of it, I don't even know that is possible with current technology, unless they've done some really, really, really clever development that they've managed to completely hush up for the last couple of years. I don't know. This feels like a pipe dream. I want them to succeed more than anyone. Before anyone calls me a hater or wishing failure on them, I want Everquest Next to succeed so badly. But
why?
I was a hardcore EQ and EQ2 goober. That's what I cut my teeth on in MMOs, and I really loved both of those games, and I really want Everquest Next to be the next big thing. And the actual gameplay demo I saw is not. It looked like Guild Wars and WoW mashed up together. It was gruesome. It was not good.
Really, I thought the gameplay demo was really good. I'm more concerned whether they can actually live up to all these promises. Like
Sorry,
they say,
I should do it in screen. It's like,
they're very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was. They say that the world is going to heal over time, which is good because obviously everyone's going to blow giant holes and build giant dicks. I mean, let's be honest, that's what they're going to do.
That's what I'd do.
Yep.
I mean, but if the world heals over time, that's not really a permanent change to the environment.
No.
Well, it is if they let you build buildings and stuff.
Until someone comes and blows that building up within an hour of your finishing it because they saw it and.
I mean, there's a reason
dicks.
I don't play Minecraft with other people.
Right.
Right, yeah.
Because the opportunities for trolling are so colossal.
Yeah, I mean, you spend hours and hours and hours building your thing, and then some guy's like, hey, I just released a fire monster in there. I hope you don't have any wood.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, someone digs up through your floor, from a spider hatcher, and next time you log in, your house is full of giant spiders.
Right, exactly.
Shit like that. So
don't do that. Yeah, no, exactly. And I think, the whole, they're doing EverQuest Landmark, I think they're calling it, which is the actual building material. So you can build a house in Landmark and then template it and take your template to EverQuest Next. So
I still don't get quite how that's going to work.
What's a Landmark?
Landmark is the actual building tools with the voxels.
Oh, so you go build it in a different program and then import it?
I think that is the way they're setting it up. Yeah, I'm a little vague into how EverQuest Next and the Landmark kind of interact with each other.
See, the way I understood it, and again, this is maybe I'm just misinterpreting this, but I thought it was like more like the Dimensions in Rift, where it's sort of you mark a place in the game world, and then can start building there in an instance sort of pocket dimension, and then you can export that from that sort of pocket dimension into the real world.
Okay. Well,
That
I
was
mean,
how
that's
I understood it, but maybe I could.
yeah. I think that I hope that it's actually an in-game sort of experience, because building in another tool and then I mean building in a tool as long as the like communication and like there's an
You can
easy
still
way to
chat.
swap between what you're doing and and playing with other people, then
Yeah.
that would work out. Otherwise, that's going to be I don't know. I mean, it's a lot like I want to say how I expect the Foundry is in that game
Neverwinter.
that no none of us like. Yeah. The tool is like you go off and build your thing and everything's great and hooray, you built the tool. But that whole time you're sort of like off in your own little world doing that and not playing the game with other people. Um, Hopefully that changes or whatever. I mean, as long as you can swap between, if it's like Dimensions and Rift, like you can go work on your thing and still chat with people, and then just pop out, play for a while, and then pop back in when you're ready. That'd be cool.
Yeah. And I'm kind of hoping that's what happens, but I don't know. They didn't really make it very clear at this point, so who
Well,
knows?
they may or may not know, honestly.
Yeah, there's a lot still up in the air. I'd like to hear more about the housing, because housing in EverQuest 2 is amazing, so I'd like to know how much of that is going to EverQuest Next. And I'd like to hear more about crafting.
The way they described crafting, at least I mean they were really only talking about it in terms of weaponsmithing in the reveal, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But the theory is that every class will build sort of add-ons for armor and weapons of different types,
Mm-hmm.
and of basically different gear slots that will visually as well as functionally modify your items. So like you can add a different handguard onto a sword that'll give it different abilities, or modify different skills rather.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone will be sort of interconnected. So if I'm getting this right, a weaponsmith could like make the sword, and then another craftsman could make adornments for it. And this is the main
and the one with gems
artificing.
in Warcraft, the one with gems.
Oh, right,
Jewel
yeah.
crafting.
Jewel
Jewel
crafting.
crafting.
Yeah. Hopefully it's
Kind
more.
of.
Hopefully it's more involved than that, because that system is kind of.
Well, I mean, as long as they get the general look and feel of the EQ2 crafting system, I'm happy. I liked that a lot.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
really like the EverQuest 2 crafting. It's got like a nice little mini game, and I hope they bring that spirit over. I can't see how they wouldn't. I mean, housing and crafting are like the pillars of EverQuest 2, so I'd be really surprised if they did a shoddy job of that with EverQuest Next.
Well, I don't know. They might do a shoddy job. They might just not focus on that as much as some of their crazy pants new stuff, like story bricks and voxel blocks and whatever.
Yeah,
So
but
many
it might,
voxels.
if
I
it's
know.
already fun for people, they may or may not need to change it too much, right? I mean, like that might be the sort of thing that they sort of feel like they know how to do, so they spend more of their time with new stuff.
Well, as long as they don't dick around with the old system too much, that's cool. But if they just throw something in half baked, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I have hopes. I have hopes.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they grabbed some of those technologies from indie games, right?
They did,
Yeah.
Yeah, the AI is coming from Storybricks, and the voxel engine itself is coming from this guy who just decided to write a voxel engine. So that's pretty cool.
God bless just the nerd community of the world.
Yeah, I mean
There are people sitting around doing this stuff.
I mean, this is also
Awesome.
one of the first times. Well, maybe not. It's one of the public times. One of the first public times that I can recall, like a AAA title just hiring people out. I'm sure it happens all the time. Licensing indie games. But I know lots of indie developers go and cut their teeth on indie games and then go work at studios or bring over technology. But I don't know. Maybe it's just a good thing with all of the indie development that's going on right now. The stuff that's good gets incorporated into the stuff that has higher production values too, which is cool.
Well, when they're more kind of utility style things like the story bricks, yeah, I definitely see that as the kind of the that's almost the way it's supposed to work. I think is they create these utilities, and the bigger developers say, hey, that would work amazingly for Project X, and then either I think in this case I get the impression that did Sony just like hire the guy or just buy the rights to the software? Or are they just licensing it?
I don't know.
Because I mean, if they're just sort of scooping up smart people with good ideas, that's the heart of good business.
My understanding is that Storybricks is still its own unique organization. They're just lending their technology to Everquest Next.
That's like licensing. That's reasonable.
Yeah.
One of the muds I first cut my multiplayer gaming on. They actually did the same thing for the Star Wars Old Republic story. Decision Engine was all based out of work that they did. They were like gonna build an MMO, and eventually I think it became vaporware. But they sold their story building engine to several people, including Star Wars, which is pretty cool. So I mean, it's not new to like build tools and send them. It's just
yeah.
Well, I think it's really cool that the EverQuest people, Sony, are willing to go outside of their company to look for the technology to do what they want to do. I think that actually bodes well for the game being different from most, because every MMO says it's going to be different. I mean, Guild Wars 2 was like, we're totally different, and they're not.
Yeah, well.
So I think that actually bringing in, indies and people who are burning the midnight oil, trying to make these technologies, that is really going to make them different.
Yeah, well, smart people with good ideas. That's the core of the industry.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
one of the things they said about EverQuest Next is that there will be no Holy Trinity, and the Storybricks guys have been saying now, wait till you see the AI, wait till you see the AI. This is going to work out, but I am pretty skeptical about no Holy Trinity.
Which are the Holy Trinity? Because Georgeson kept going on about his holy grails of.
No, Holy Trinity is tank DPS healer.
Okay. I just wasn't sure what you were talking about, because Georgeson had like his 3 or 4 holy grails that were required to make a good MMO that he's determined to get in. And I wish I had my notes in front of me, because I wrote down what they were, and I was just a little curious about the things he decided to emphasize. I'm trying to remember what they were. Damn, I've completely lost it now.
But, I mean, I love playing a healer, so they're going to have to be really convincing to tell me why I should care about not playing a healer.
Well, I got the impression that it's more
true.
like that you're still going to be like able to play a healer. It's just you're not going to require. It's not going to It's not going to require the Holy Trinity to.
Right. You don't need a dedicated
stuff.
Healer, a dedicated tank, and 3 DPS in a 5-man party. And like, as soon as that goes away, thank God, my life is way better.
It's true. The days we have to.
Yeah, you're wrong. You're shaking your head. I can see you now. You can't just shake your head.
Damn it!
Busted. Oh, this is brilliant.
I don't like this system at all.
But, no, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess part of it is different philosophies. I have played healers. I've played tanks a lot, and I have played lots and lots of hybrids. And I just don't want to require certain people to play certain roles in order for me to do the content, to participate in the content. Like, if I have 3 friends and we all want to play, like, hunters or whatever, if we all want to play, like, similar-ish characters because that's what's fun and interesting for us, then we should be able to. And, it shouldn't require us to either go find somebody else to add to our group, or for one of us or 2 of us in this case to make the specific compromise to play some role that we're not interested in. And I think that, especially when I started out in WoW, that was a huge issue. Is like, I could never figure out if, my group of friends was going to have enough whatevers to play the game together. And so then somebody always re-rolled, and it was probably me because I'm that guy anyway. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it was, frustrating, and every time I go to an MMO, to play the class that I want to play and not worry about whether I'm going to be able to participate or not.
My
Well,
only concern is whether they can actually make boss fights or fights in general that are challenging. I mean, because there's no Trinity in Guild Wars 2. But the problem I hear, and I haven't played it myself, but is that everything is just like, it's like a Zergy chaos, graveyard Zerg, because there's no Trinity, so everybody just sort of throws whatever they got at them until they die. And I'm hoping if they can come up with a way to do strategic fights without that, then I'm on board. But I haven't seen that happen yet.
Well, yeah, I that's kind of what I'm afraid is going to happen, though, is that we're going to end up with something that looks a lot like Guild Wars 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, at this point, it's obviously a little early to be making predictions, but at this point, that's kind of my predictions. What we're going to see is a Guild Wars like hodgepodge of different styles of run up to the boss and mash a key at it until you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
And that people will be wearing different armor and will have different animations and particle effects, but it will all essentially be run up to the boss and mash 2.
Have you tanked in WoW in the last 3 or 4 years?
God, no. Jeez, ugh.
So at some point they tanking for several expansions, and I can't really speak to the latest one. I can't speak to Pandaria. But certainly through Lich King and through Cataclysm, tanking was essentially just a DPS rotation. And that bored the shit out of me. Like, there's a reason I stopped tanking and started DPSing, is because at least if I was going to do everything right, I was going to be on top of the DPS meters and everybody was going to know how good I was. Like before that...
That is the attraction, yeah.
Before that, I felt like I could make a difference, and to some extent I think the last time I really felt that way was in Ulduar, specifically Thorin. Thorin, he's the lightning guy, right? With there's the arena, and he's like throwing lightning bolts at you. Yeah, and that one, it made a big difference to my group's success, whether I could actually pick up the guys, and that there were certain mobs that had to be grabbed immediately and would start killing everybody, and the positioning was tight, and doing that well for my group helped us out tremendously. When somebody else was tanking and it wasn't me, that whole arena went to shit. And that's not necessarily me specifically, but speaking about a competent tank versus just somebody who runs in and mashes buttons. And so, I mean, I guess that there's room to build tanking classes or whatever. And I know that healing is a different beast altogether, but certainly there's room to differentiate some of that stuff. I don't know. I guess I just want I want to be able to play the class I want and not have to worry about whether somebody else can do that job or not. Because if there's a fight where there's a bunch of stuff going on, and there's a part of it where somebody needs to pull a guy to a specific location and stick him there or run him around in circles, I can do that, and I can do that no matter what class I'm playing if I'm given the tools.
Well,
and somebody else can do the same thing.
In theory, that's going to be... I mean, I don't know. Their class system, it sounds just sort of insane. So I imagine it'll really come down to everyone having all of the tools possible. Just you might have slightly different stylistic flourishes on how they look, but everyone should, in theory, have every ability. Because I mean, did you hear about Did you listen to how they're going to set up the classes? How there's only 4 or 6 base classes, but each of those base classes has 30-something offshoot classes that grow off them, and you can just sort of mix and match things from all of the ones you've unlocked to make your dream class, kind of like Rift on steroids. So I mean, really, there's only so many things you can do in a game. In an MMO, you can really only have so many ways of shoot the mans, stab the mans, heal your friends, or get hit in the face. There's really only so many ways you can do that. So when you figure every class has got 24 different, 32, whatever ridiculous number of extra classes they've got to work from, everyone's going to have every ability. You'll just, one guy will be doing it by shooting lightning out of his ass, the other guy will be shooting, black fire out of his hands or something. It'll be the same thing, they'll just look different. So really, I expect everyone will have every tool. It'll just come down to people's sort of, I don't know, stylistic taste.
Yeah, and I'm sure that some people will. I mean, optimization fatigue is an issue in our gaming hobby, right? Like, we all fight over, 200 DPS out of 10,000. I mean, maybe less so now than we did a couple years ago when we were all heavily invested in rating. But no, you look thoughtful, Max.
I was going to say something, but I changed my mind there. I about how kind of the. I think that that was also partially because WoW let us too far behind the curtain. They let us see too much of the underlying numbers. And as a result, I mean, that's the thing about nerds, is if you give us a tunable situation, we will tune that son of a bitch within an inch of its life. Nerds are fiddlers. They need to fiddle with things to optimize them. So because WoW gave us such a piercing look behind the veil into how everything worked, I think people took it that much further, and I think newer games that have come out since have probably realized that and kind of reeled that in a little bit to not let us.
I mean, have they? Rift has a combat
so.
log. Rift doesn't. Rift has a combat log that people have quickly built tools to analyze completely.
Yeah, but does Guild Wars do that? Are we going to see?
No.
Yeah, I wonder if that's kind of going to be more of the way of the future, is just less information given to the players.
Go back to where we used to be when we didn't know, how much damage jumping on the guy's head did.
I was happier then.
Yeah, me too. No, I think.
Speaking for myself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a lot happier, in Warcraft right now as a level 24 hunter or paladin or whatever I am. I have 2 characters now.
Here we go again.
No, but so I'm a lot happier just pressing the buttons that seem like they're the right buttons rather than actively knowing that it's the right button. I mean,
right.
It just makes it's a lot more freeing for me to not really care. And that's part of the problem that I have when I go back to Rift right now, is that in order to get a playable character, I have to either start from the beginning. If we start from the beginning, it's okay. If you want to build your own spec, you just sort of pick the things that sound good, or one of the suggested paths. Everything else is there's a lot of buttons to configure, and then there's a lot of choices to make upfront with talents, and then there's a lot of buttons that come out of those talents, and then you have to spend tons and tons of time trying to optimize or trying to figure out what's intended, and then let alone the edge cases where the things that are intended are misleading.
Well, that's always been, I think, Rift's one weak spot, is that they kind of throw you into the deep end information-wise with the classes very, very quickly, and just kind of leave you to figure out how to swim on your own. I know a number of people who have not made it through their introductory period with Rift just because the talent trees terrified them so very much.
Yeah, I actually really liked them once I got into them. It's just if you are, it does not make for a casual experience. It does not make for a good casual experience.
There's a very high learning curve to get past the leveling part. Once you've gotten through the leveling, you're pretty much expected to, by that point, know how to build your own class, essentially. But yeah, I don't know. Actually, when you think about it, Rift is almost a very good example of what I was talking about the kind of everyone being able to do everything just with different sort of particle effects on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they still haven't gotten to the point where everyone can do every single thing, but
next expansion, they've already said they're going to do that.
Yeah, well, next expansion, whenever 3.0 happens, that's I think that's not going to be for at least a year, but.
Well, yeah, I'm not nearly up to date enough. I'll ask them when we get to PAX
Yeah, that'll be a.
They're like, hey guys.
Yeah, I'm sure we're not going to get a lot of when's 3.0 questions. It's gonna
Nobody
be,
will think to ask that question.
yeah, no, that's bottom of my list.
Just have to, track down Scott Hartman and corner him at the Rift Party and see how it goes.
I actually want to make a sign with, give him like a big curly black head of hair and a big handlebar mustache. Make a sign that says "Welcome back, Scotter," and hold that up during the party. I'm really tempted. I want to see it. I want to see if I can get a reaction. But Scott Hartzman, if you hear this, here to hear first. Be prepared.
It will be nice to
Front
see
row.
him at PAX again.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. I was worried we wouldn't get some compromising photos of him posing with a booth babe.
I wished him happy birthday last year.
You did. I remember that.
Yeah. Speaking of PAX.
See how I led you right into that transition?
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
schmoove, man. Schmoove.
So PAX is coming up in 2 weeks, and all three of us are going. And more importantly, all three of us have been to multiple previous PAXes. So I thought we could talk about some of our old experiences.
How many PAXes have you been to?
This will be my fifth.
This would be the fourth, I think.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
What was your first year? Do you remember?
5 years ago.
I missed one.
The first PAX I went to, it was so unattended that I walked in on a Sunday because someone's like, you should go to this PAX thing, it's cool. And I just walked in and bought a pass on Sunday. I'm like, I don't need a pass for today, whatever. And now, of course, the passes sell out in like 12 minutes. So.
Yeah, like in the state.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I also have been to, I think 6 maybe? I don't know, I think 2008 was my first year, but I also went to the PAX East.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
I don't get that.
Was there any difference between PAX West and PAX East in your mind?
The accents.
It was cold, it was in the middle of the winter. And like it was actually kind of weird, like, so the convention hall was across the street from, I think from either our hotel or maybe from the place with all the food. I can't really remember. I just remember there was like cold wind and I was in shorts and a t-shirt because the PAX, like the convention hall is still hot. And it was like, I mean, I grew up in Chicago, so I know what it's like in the winter. But, running across the street in shorts and a t-shirt when it's really cold out because I didn't want to carry my jacket around all day. That was pretty awesome. I think I went to the first PAX East, and it was really the hall was way too small for PAX, so it felt really crowded. I've heard that they've done a lot better, and I haven't been back yet. One of these years I'll go back.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, Vajra, what stands out to you from like previous PAXes? Have you seen any celebrities?
Celebrities at PAX. Well, I guess that depends on what tier of celebrity we're talking about. I mean,
and also
I always wave to Total Biscuit. He never waves back though. He never waves back.
That counts.
What does seeing mean?
Yeah, really. It's. I once glimpsed Felicia Day from across a crowded room.
Yeah, I've been to concerts where like all those guys show up.
Yeah.
What? That's cool. That counts.
Not really.
Not really.
That's like saying I went to the movies and oh my god, I saw Leonardo DiCaprio.
All right, fair enough. Well, I saw Total Biscuit, and that's it for my celebrities.
Honestly, I don't really go to PAX for the celebrities, but then I don't know how many celebrities, quote unquote, there really are. Although I will tell a funny story about kind of a celebrity related to PAX was. The last year I went to BlizzCon, MC Frontalot inexplicably had been hired by Blizzard to basically do like sets between the big main stage, like reveals that they were doing. So he was kind of like he was on their main stage, but in between the big presentations, and he was being completely ignored. And at PAX he's a bald, tiny god.
Right.
And it was really weird to see an equally sized crowd completely ignoring him, just shuffling by, ignoring him during his set.
I recall that. Yeah.
That was very weird.
So
different crowd.
I'm going to miss this year is the BioShock Infinite booth, because I feel like my old PAX friends.
The perennial Bioshock Infinite booth.
Wait, I don't even remember. What was the Bioshock Infinite booth?
Oh, it's been there for like the last 3 years, and it's gotten like smaller and smaller and weirder as the years go by, to the point where I actually thought the game would never come out.
Wasn't it the first year they actually had like the giant songbird model bursting out of like the background with the girl dressed as Elizabeth like clutching his hand? You could have your picture taken with her. And then next year, the second
How did
year,
I miss that?
yeah, it was pretty impressive. It was great. Then the next year they just had Elizabeth, and the year after that they didn't have Elizabeth or a songbird. They just had a poster. In fact, I think it was a hand drawn poster. I think it was actually done in pencil.
Oh my goodness.
No, it was good. I got reminded of this story this weekend. Actually, it was good. I think the last year of the Bioshock Infinite booth, they had stopped even putting trailers or anything there. They just had some framed pieces of storyboard art, which is about like that was all they showed you. You waited in line for an hour to look at a half dozen pieces of storyboard art and a photo of a guy who had play tested the beta.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why I didn't know much about it. I haven't waited in a line.
Well.
I haven't waited in a long line like that at PAX for a while. But I waited for Borderlands 2 2 years ago when they were like giving out shirts and doing like an early in-depth trailer demo thing.
Right.
That was cool.
I actually really regretted not going to their panel a couple of years ago. That it was that same year, and they did a panel on Sunday, just kind of like a ask Gearbox anything type thing. And a coworker of mine, his younger brother went, and obviously almost no one went because it was Sunday afternoon, the last day of PAX. No one cared. The apparently the hall was like half full at best, and at the door there were just people handing out like postcards, so hey, you're going to be able to redeem this for some swag. And apparently near the end of the Q&A, whoever's leading it got up and pulled a straight up Oprah Winfrey on the crowd and said, "Okay, guys, remember those cards you all got? Those are all good for a free copy of Borderlands 2."
Yeah, my friend got that.
And I remember hearing this the next day going, "Son of a bitch, I went for a burger when that happened. I could have had Borderlands 2 instead of a cheeseburger."
Yeah, so I waited in line for the booth and I got a sweet Borderlands t-shirt.
Uh-huh.
And my friend missed out on the T-shirt, but then went to the thing and got a copy of the game, and he was all bragging about the copy of the game, and I was like, yeah, but I can get a copy of the game. You can't get a T-shirt. So I think I made
take your shirt.
I made the right choice there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know. Most of my best PAX stories are not related at all to anything that actually happened during the convention. I really enjoy my time going. I like going to panels. I like seeing games and stuff. Although, honestly, a lot of the booths are a lot less interesting to me, I find, these days.
Well, it's all hype. You never really find anything out about the game.
Yeah, I mean, I remember one of the first years I went, I spent a bunch of time playing one of the WWE games. I mean, I did, because they just had rows of games that you could walk up and play them for a while. And walking up and playing the games, that was fun, right? That was my favorite part about going there. Was a giant, free play arcade of games that hadn't been released yet. So I felt like I got to interact with the games more rather than just watch the trailer again. And a lot of games, especially the big ones, either the line's an hour or more long, and I'm just not really willing to stand in that. Or they're showing off demos, or the game's going to come out in 2 months, and why do I want to wait for 2 hours to get to play the game for 15 minutes? It's going to come out in 2 months. That I'm going to buy anyway, because most of the games that I'm going to that I'd be willing to stand in line for, I already am probably going to buy unless I play it and it's terrible.
Exactly, and I don't know. I mean, honestly, for me, a big part of it was that the big booths, you are a lot less likely to have any of the actual development team there, and I really like being able to talk to the people who, were the ones who actually made the game, not their hired, booth biscuits or their PR flacks, but the actual development team, and you always get to talk to them in the independent, the indie alley and whatnot.
That's true.
That's
I waited in line for an hour and a half to play Star Wars on Star Wars: The Old Republic and get a shirt.
I remember that. I played like three very good games in the time it took you to get through that line, and you came out of it making that exact face for like the next hour. That was the only face
It's
you
gonna
made.
be the next big thing. I gotta try it now, and then I'm like, oh.
Do you remember when like Privateer Press was like throwing out shirts from their pirate ship? Like, where's all that cool swag? All that swag is sort of like gone away now. Now you have to like sit in line for everything. Like,
I haven't had a shirt shot at me with a t-shirt cannon in years. It's true.
I just feel like it was a lot more sort of. I mean, now it's gotten big enough to the point where like I don't know. It just feels a lot more
Institutionalized.
Yeah, exactly.
It does.
Exactly.
It's very much so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I stood and talked to the Torchlight developers before Torchlight 1 came out, when nobody knew about Torchlight, for probably 45 minutes, and the guys were just like geeking out and like breaking the developer console out and like doing all sorts of stuff, and just be like, yeah, this thing's awesome. Remember, like, you know, you could do all this thing. Look at this really cool thing we implemented. It was like the weekend, and we were like, oh, this is pretty sweet. They're gonna do this, and like, you know, that sort of enthusiasm, like you said. I mean, like talking to, you know, the marketing reps is a lot less interesting to me, and I shouldn't say that if I ever want to actually have a conversation with a marketing rep. But you know, the interesting thing.
Marketing reps, you could do better.
Well, yeah, I mean that's
there.
really right. Yeah, I just want to like the interaction with developers and stuff. That's pretty cool. Last year I talked to the guys who were making Forge during the end of their Kickstarter, their unsuccessful Kickstarter that I backed. Although they didn't. I mean, I still have a copy of the game. I don't think I've actually started it, but I have a copy.
Forge.
But it was cool. I mean, it was promising. I talked to the guys, like talking to the developers was fun. That is the most interesting part of going to PAX from a industry perspective. The rest of it is like I literally have friends that I've met at PAX and only see and talk to at PAX, and so I very much want to go every year just so I can see those people. That's my favorite part by far.
I'm really looking forward to hitting the indies this year. There's a lot of really cool indie games, and I know from last year, you know, they're always really, it's the same sort of thing. They're always really eager to talk to people and talk about their game and show it off, and it's very grassroots, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
That is a good hipster answer.
Thank you.
Very nice. Well, I'll be interested to see how the intersection this is with the Steam Greenlight program. They've gotten a lot. That's, you know, from this really great new access point for independent games. I'm wondering how many of those developers make a physical showing at events like PAX as well. There's just been this huge kind of explosion of indie games being made available on, you know, digital fronts. I'm just kind of hoping they don't stop doing, you know, the physical meet and greet type stuff as well.
Yeah, a bunch of those were there last year at PAX.
Were there? That's thank goodness.
There was trying to remember exactly where it was, but it was, you know, off sort of towards one of the wings, you know, like off a little bit.
An access hallway.
It wasn't like the upstairs. I felt like there was that upstairs area in like the other building almost. I don't know. There was a on like the top floor, there was like a room that was like all indies and stuff, but I felt like that was sort of like the, you know,
wasn't that
go
where
here and be forgot about. The Minecraft guys are up there, I think.
Yeah, that's where the Mojang booth was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I like that place. It was like the secret room. You know, you had to like find the hidden switch behind the filing cabinet and fight a leopard to get to the escalator that led up. Good stuff, man.
Yeah, so that was cool, but the part where I actually had the most interaction with people was on the main floor. It was just sort of like in the back, you know. And there's a whole ring of booths. Actually, Smite was nearby.
Smite, that was good.
So like back behind that, I played. They were showing Octodad, which is like I don't know if you guys have played. I actually haven't, but a lot of people. That was one of the ones that was early Greenlight. And it was just a bunch of like little indie games that were pretty fun to play. All just figuring. I assume they'll be here again.
Hopefully.
I'm not here. I'm not in PAX right now.
Right.
Well, we will be live from PAX in 2 weeks, doing a live broadcast of the show, talk about what we see on the show floor. So until then, Ellie, what else have you been playing this week?
Dungeon something. What's it called?
Uh-huh.
Dungeon thing.
Dungeon Robber. Dungeon Robber.
I like
So-
my name better.
Robber.
Have you guys heard of Dungeon Robber? I know you guys have because I've told you about it.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I totally have. The
Okay.
Dungeon Robber is
Oh, okay.
it's sort of the offshoot of a Kickstarter project, I think, to make random dungeons for like D&D pen and paper games. And the guy took all of the first edition. Apparently, in one of the first edition books of probably the Dungeon Master Guide, there's like some big chart where you can create a random on-the-fly dungeon crawl instance. And he, just by rolling, and then you like, it tells you what's in the room, and it tells you how many exits and everything. And
Yeah.
so he built into a Flash game the entirety of that. He was, part of his Kickstarter was like a huge infographic wall chart, with illustrations on this dungeon. And he basically built a little roguelike into Flash, and it's pretty fun. It's kind of repetitive, but it's fun.
Cool.
I also played some WoW. We talked about that. We've been doing Leor, you played WoW too. You
I
can't
did,
even
I
say
did.
no.
I did.
Shaking my head.
Roger is a holdout, though.
Standing
You can
in
take it by both
judgment.
of us.
Well, we've started up a group to run instances every week or so, and level up as kind of a team, although we're already getting separated by East Coast and West Coast. So we'll see how much longer it lasts. So we've run 2 weeks in a row. The group is up to Nomragon this week, I think, and it's kind of fun to like play with people again. That's the most fun about it. It's like I kind of wish it wasn't WoW sometimes.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff has changed, but it's still WoW. The only good thing is that we're playing on the Horde, which is what I've always wanted to play and never been able to. I've never found a group. I've never found a group on the Horde, and this is the first consistent group on the Horde. So that's good.
Cool. Vajra, what have you been playing lately?
Fair bit of Rift, and I'm still actually, despite having beaten the game, I'm going back and clearing up all the side content and Sleeping Dogs.
Oh, do you like that one?
Yes, I do. If you haven't played it, play it.
It's sitting downloaded, but I feel like I have to get through Saints Row the Third first.
You probably should, because the ending of Saints Row is completely worth the time and effort, and yeah, Saints Row is probably the better game of the two overall, but Sleeping Dogs was a lot better than I expected it to be. The combat and really the hand-to-hand combat and the driving are way better than this game probably should have had, or maybe the rest of the game just sort of lagged behind that. I don't know, but the story is amazing. It feels very much like playing the lead in a Johnny To triad drama. It's sort of like what was the name of that John Woo video game that was basically a hard-boiled movie? Do you remember what that was called? Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. I think it had an appropriate John Woo-ish name. Basically, it was intended to be sort of like playing a Chow Yun-Fat action movie as a video game. This was very much a triad drama as a game. It was really good.
Stranglehold? Was it
Stranglehold. Thank you. There you go.
Oh man, I just looked it up, and the cover has a guy leaping backwards with crossed arms, shooting two pistols while bullets are flying. So that's basically every John Woo movie ever.
Yeah. In Sleeping Dogs, you can dive in slow motion, mind you, out of a moving car, pull a gun out, and shoot your own out-of-control empty car in the gas tank and blow it up and use it as a flying, burning missile at people. I have done this on multiple occasions.
I want to play. That sounds like the stuff I did in Just Cause.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Speaking of Just Cause, I guess because I own Just Cause too, I started Sleeping Dogs with a Rico costume,
Oh,
complete with
nice.
the grappling hook thing and the leather vest and kind of like just the whole leather daddy outfit he's
Oh,
got,
that's awesome.
which is really weird looking. It's a little odd looking on Wei Shen, your character in Sleeping Dogs, running around Hong Kong dressed like I don't know, some sort of Indiana Jones leather daddy. It's a little weird. A little weird.
Oh, weird.
Well, I love Just Cause too, so I hope they make a third one.
Oh, they will. They will. I think that's actually already in development, but that was too good a formula to not make more. It's just such dumb, easy fun.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Cool.
me.
I finished Saints Row 3 in the last couple of weeks.
Boy, did you.
With Vajra. Preparing to play Saints Row 4 when it's out on August 20th. The inauguration station, which is what they're calling their character creator, is out right now for free, so you can create your president, which is pretty cool. So I've got that, and just basically Rift and WoW.
That's right. Can't get away from that.
I know, but it's the people. Like 15 of our guildies show up, and I have to be there.
I know, right? It's exactly it.
I think we all feel that way, which is kind of weird. Why are we?
No,
I don't know.
To be fair, I was playing WoW before again, and I'm still sort of slowly leveling up another person, just because it is kind of fun to play a game that I know pretty well, but is a little bit different than last time I played.
Mm-hmm.
But if these people had chosen to go play, I don't know if everybody had been like, let's figure out how to play Guild Wars 2 or some other game that I hadn't played already, I probably would be even happier.
Yeah, for sure. But that's about it. And I'm looking forward to PAX in a couple weeks. So we will be back in roughly 2 weeks. We have to set an exact time and day, so watch our Twitter. We do have a Twitter. It's at CatContact.
It's 3 weeks, by the way.
3 weeks. We'll be back in 3
Details,
weeks.
whatever.
Look, I don't know, man.
2
We'll be back
to
in
3 weeks. Between
Yeah.
2 and maybe we'll be back in 2 weeks and 3 weeks.
That's right. Who can say?
say?
At some
I might
point-
be the champion of Grand Prix Oakland by then.
Nice.
The Magic.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right. You're
hey,
going
look
to
at
be the
that.
Magic Champion.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm not, but I'm gonna try.
No, hey, trying is half the battle. Well, that's cool. And Vajra and I will be doing our Saints Row 4 Let's Play starting probably August 21st, so keep an eye on the YouTube for that.
Why are you waiting a day?
Sorry?
Why are you waiting a day?
I was giving us a day of grace period, but fine. August 20th, fine. We will be there, and we will be saving the world from aliens as our awesome kick-ass presidents. You can check out the podcast, Cat Context Podcast, leorblog.com. And yeah, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on all those places, so check us out. That's about it. You guys have any closing remarks?
Not at this point. I'll have more to say once we get a little closer to PAX, I imagine. I'll have a lot more obscenities to shout.
All right,
Yeah.
awesome.
To be continued.
Airlaid, if you're listening, congratulations. Yay.
Good job, Arrow.
Come back.
Yes. We don't
All
want to have to talk to Badger anymore.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Like a bad penny.
Vajra,
turning
thank
out.
you. Thank you very much for coming on.
Always a pleasure.
And Ellie, thank you for coming on.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, that's it. Thanks for listening, folks. We will be back at some undetermined period of time to talk more about video games. Bye.
Bye.